My father cried at my wedding. Real, ugly tears he couldn't have planned. 3 weeks later, I found out he'd been living a second life for 30 years. My father is 68 and has been the most consistent person in my life. Called every Sunday, showed up to everything, remembered every name I ever mentioned. When I got married in June, he gave a toast that made the whole room cry. My mother pulled me aside and said I got lucky with him. 3 weeks later, I was sitting in a parking garage staring at a text on his phone that started with "Good morning, my love." My parents have been married 40 years. My mother still calls him her best friend out loud. I grew up in a house without tension. No slammed doors, no cold silences, nothing I had to navigate around. When I found the text, I told myself it was nothing. Work maybe. A client. I set his phone back on the console and drove home and made dinner and didn't say a word to my husband for 5 days. On day 6, he asked what was wrong. I said I wasn't sure yet. My husband told me to go back and look. I said I didn't want to. He said that meant I already knew something was wrong. He was right. I went the following Saturday. Told my father I'd left my sunglasses in his car. He handed me the keys without looking up from the game. The thread was still there, 46 messages, the latest that morning. The name at the top said Renata. I'd never heard that name from my father in my life. I photographed every message in that thread. Sat in their driveway for 20 minutes doing it. The text went back 3 years, but the content made it clear this wasn't 3 years old. They had shorthand, references, a language built over time. She'd sent a photo of a dining room with the caption "Finally finished the table." He'd responded with a heart. My father, who never used emoji with anyone, had sent a heart. Renata had a Facebook profile. Public, no settings. I found her in 10 minutes. She was 61, lived in Dayton, owned a flower shop, photos of holidays, a small house, a dog. In 4 of them, my father was there, completely at ease, standing beside her the way you stand next to someone whose kitchen you know by heart. The most recent was Easter. My parents had told me that Easter he'd been at a conference in Cleveland. I drove to Dayton on a Wednesday. The shop was on a corner. Green awning, her name above the door. I sat across the street for 40 minutes. Then my father's truck pulled into the lot. He got out, walked in without knocking, and the lights at the back shifted the way they do when someone who belongs there comes through the door. I drove home without getting out of the car. I didn't tell my husband where I'd been. I confronted him at their house the following Friday while my mother was at her sister's. I put my phone on the kitchen table, the texts, her Facebook, the Easter photo. He sat down slowly. He didn't deny a single thing. He said her name like it was just a word, Renata. Then said it had been going on since 1991. I was born in 1989. I stood there and felt everything I understood about my own life rearrange itself. He said my mother knew. Not everything. Not Renata's name, not the full scope. But that something had existed. He said they'd reached an understanding years ago that he couldn't explain simply. I asked if he loved her. He said yes. I asked if he loved my mother. He said yes. I asked if Renata knew about me. He said she did, that he talked about me often. She knew my name, knew I'd just gotten married. I sat down. I called my mother that night. She answered first ring. I asked if she knew about Dayton. She said she knew there had been someone a long time ago. I asked if it was still going on. She said she'd learned not to ask. I asked how she lived with that. She said you find a way to keep what matters. I've been thinking about that answer ever since.